Yo, what it do? It's your man It here, and before we start my first ever YouTube video, I want to start off by explaining some of my history with this game. Out of all of the MMOs I have ever played, the two that I have always found myself coming back to have been RuneScape and BDO. I remember when BDO first came out back in 2016 and it blew me away, simply because of the amazing combat system and the graphics. I never really enjoyed the tab targeting system in many other MMOs. The only other game that I really enjoyed was Vindictus, which was the first MMO that had me hyped for BDO, because it was one of the first games that I played that introduced me to action combat. So over the course of the few years that followed, I would play the game on and off, because if you played back then, you would know how much more difficult it was in terms of grinding and making money for non-sweats. I also started my second year of college at that time, so it was also difficult to keep up. But as time went by, I would always update myself on the game and would get pulled back each time. For example, the release of Awakening brought me back to play Musa in the fall of 2016. I would then play on and off again, and after hitting level 62 back in 2019, I quit because of the lack of motivation and goals I had in the game. The game just became way too grindy for me, and making silver back then compared to now was terrible in my opinion. If you go back to those same spots today, you'll be making probably 10 times of what I've made back then. So in terms of making silver, the game has drastically changed. Funny enough, after I quit for only a few months, they announced Succession. This brought out another fire in me to play, because I have always loved playing Sorcerer, but I never played her Awakening kit since I was intimidated by it. And come on, Awakening Musa is so satisfying to play and watch. So when Succession Sorcerer came out, I was pulled back in again, but eventually the same situation happened. I got burnt out from the slow gains that I was making because the game just took too much time to progress, and then again, I quit. So from 2019 until now, I would only come back to play whenever they released a new season. So up to date, I officially returned in November of 2022 with many goals in mind, thanks to the many additions of content to grind for, like the infinite potions, grinding for dream horses, and just smashing gear with the goal of hitting 700 gear score. I honestly haven't had this much fun in BDO before, even though the grind can be monotonous. Not only that, but many other systems that they've added, like tagging a character, is another reason this game has drawn me in, because in the past you would have to drop $90 each time to reroll your weapons to play another class. There has just been so many changes and additions to this game that I think this game is in its best form yet, and is also why I have returned. So, enough of my babbling, and let's get to the real part of the video. I do want to apologize for the first few clips, because I never thought I would start streaming, let alone create a YouTube channel, so those clips were recorded on my phone with garbage quality, so fair warning. Hey again. This section of the video will be the progression of my gear throughout the past 2 months that I have been back. To start off, nearly all of my gear was reformed boss gear from Jatina. I also had all Kaposha accessories, and the Tri-Tungrad was also the Jatina accessory. In the beginning of the video, you saw me smash a Pen Crescent. I did end up selling that for 50 billion and bought a Ted Desto and Crescent Ring, as well as a Vel's Heart. At that time, I was not motivated to play. I really only got on to troll smash my gear, which I eventually continued to do, and failed to smash my Ted Desto and Crescent. After that, I nearly quit the game for good, but I knew there wasn't any other MMO I wanted to play, and I knew that if I gave this game a chance and played it smart, I could actually enjoy the game and not quit from rage smashing. So I got to work. I got lucky and smashed a Tet Tungrad, and after a few weeks grinded out the Tet Jatina accessory. In the video, you also saw me smash my Pen Griffin and Bags. The Pen Dim Tree was from the Magnus quest that was recently released. I then grinded out materials and silver to get my reformed Kudum to level 4, which is nearly the same as a regular Pen Kudum. You only lose 1 accuracy. Then I eventually got the Tet Black Star that you saw in the video. Lastly, I finally got to finish up a lot of the permanent gear score increases from the journals. I did Doran's Secret Journal, the Kazarka Barrier Crest, and the recently added Odolita 1 AP and DP increase. So this was my gear score until recently. I have made upgrades, but that's for the next progression video. I just want to thank anyone who took their time to watch my first ever YouTube video. I won't ask you to like and subscribe. Instead, please comment down below what you liked about the video or things I can improve on. Thank you and happy holidays. Stay safe, and I will see you next year.